A little disclaimer as the video starts. All these opinions are my own, and what works for me may not work for you. With that being said, I hope some of you find this helpful.
Good morning, doll YouTube. This is Lotus Blossom Dolls here, and today I have a Just Like Me number 19 from American Girl. I found this doll at a thrift store for $12. She is complete, but her shoes are in really rough shape, and she has a little pen mark on the side of her face. So today we're going to clean her up. We are going to give her a bath. We're going to restring her because she is so loose. And then I think she may end up being one of the dolls I'm going to use for my custom Country Bear musical jamboree doll. But yeah, she's super cute. This was actually the meat outfit that came out when I was a little girl. I may also try and fix her meat shoes because these are rough looking. We're going to give all her clothing and stuff a bath as well when we give her a bath. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride, and I'm really excited to show y'all. Hello, so I'm back. I just wanted to show you just how loose her legs are. I'm about to cut all the strings, and I'll show you that process for restringing, but I just wanted to show you how loose she was. It's a lot easier to clean American Girls if you take them apart because you don't have to worry about getting the fabric of the body wet. But if you don't want to, you totally can wash them still strung in with their heads on. Usually if a doll has like really tight limbs still, I won't take them all the way apart. Or if they have a zip tie in their neck, I find that really annoying to fix. So when that happens, I will usually leave them strung. The big trick is you don't want their body wet. And if you get their body wet, even a little bit, you definitely need to sit there and like dry it before you leave it so it doesn't get moldy. It may not be as big of a deal if you live somewhere with a dry climate, like on the West Coast or somewhere that's more deserty. But if you live somewhere that's humid, you definitely don't want to let your doll get moldy. So I took her neck string. I'm gonna loosen it up. I really like neck strings. I really, really dislike the zip ties. I think they're quite annoying. So we're gonna pop her head off. Bloop. Now, if the body is... I'm gonna go grab a Ziploc, I think. If you need to wash the fabric of the body, you're definitely gonna want to save the stuffing in a bag. For my purposes of restringing her, I'm gonna have to take her stuffing out because she's gonna need... I'm gonna need access to the inside joint to fix the tightness of the arms and the legs. So, also, we can look at her little body tag really quick while we've got her out. This one doesn't have anything like super crazy on it. The tag says 2008 though. She does have the like skinnier, harder arms and legs, but she still kind of has the chubby, like the in-between chubby body. She doesn't have the super skinny body yet. So I'm gonna go grab a bag for her stuffing. I'm gonna unstuff her, then I'll show you how to take her arms and legs off. Alright, welcome back. I have a bag, I brought some scissors, and we're gonna get to unstuffing her. The stuffing is usually quite tightly packed into the little bodies, especially if you get an older doll. The newer ones, they don't have as much stuffing in them, which is unfortunate. But it may take you a while to get all of the stuffing out.
A few minutes later.
Her stuffing seems to be in pretty good condition still. Sometimes you'll open dolls and their stuffing won't be as nice just from the age or how she was stored or what the person that owned her before you did with her. Like if they were really rough, if they ever got her wet, stuff like that. So it's not unusual to have to buy new stuffing for dolls as well. I also like to repair like teddy bears and stuff, so this is quite a similar process to that. If you ever want to see how to restore like a vintage teddy bear or like stuffed animal, let me know. We can make a video on that too. I don't really collect stuffed animals, but I have helped a lot of friends who do collect stuffed animals fix theirs because the skill set's so similar to fixing a doll. I've had people be like, oh, can you help with this? And I'm like, absolutely, I can. So, yeah. I like making custom outfits a lot too. I'm not the best at sewing. I'm getting better. I was all self-taught, and my grandmother, when I was a little girl, gave me some sewing lessons and got me my first sewing machine when I was probably about 6. So I've been sewing for a long time, but I wouldn't say that I'm like super good at it or like professionally trained at it. I've also only really made doll-size clothes. I worked on a couple things for myself when I was in high school. Like I made my prom dress when I was in high school because I just couldn't afford to buy the kind that I liked / wanted, and so I made my own. But yeah, I think this process can be really satisfying and really fun. I know it's probably a little weird to look at, but it's good. I hope you're not afraid to work on your dolls. Like, never be afraid to work on your dolls. I know that they're expensive and that could be kind of a daunting thing because if you feel like if you mess one up, it's going to cost a lot of money to replace or fix it. But at this point, American Girls are common enough, at least as of recording this video, American Girls are common enough that you definitely could get a replacement part if you hurt something for not that much money. So just like have that little thought in the back of your mind because it's honestly like you're not gonna probably mess it up. I've only ever messed up 2 dolls in my entire life and I've fixed hundreds. So the likelihood that you will mess it up is not that high. Don't be afraid to try. It's so rewarding and satisfying to like fix a doll yourself and like know that you did it. We're getting close. I can feel the last little bits. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop and get the last little bit of the stuffing out and I will be right back. Alright, welcome back. So this is what the body looks like without any stuffing. It's just hollow. I'm gonna show you what the inside of these mechanisms look like before I cut them apart just so it's less scary. So this is what the inside of the socket that the arms and legs are sitting in look like. And they have a little cap on the end. And then they have a piece of elastic and they have like a little crimped piece of metal to hold the elastic down. As you can see, mine is quite loose. I can pull and get like a lot of slack on it, which is why we're having the looseness on the other side where you can like see into the doll. The legs are much worse for me on my doll currently, but the legs on the inside, the mechanism looks exactly the same as the arms. So if I can get a view of it with this non-dominant hand of mine. This is like what the inside sort of looks like. There should be 4 of these little caps. So I'm gonna cut, I have to use 2 hands, but I'm gonna cut one of them off and I'll show you what it looks like as pieces. All right, so I cut this piece off. You're not gonna be able to reuse these, unfortunately, so you will just need to throw them away. I have a little socket cover. And then there's the socket itself. It does not come out. You can see the piece of elastic in there. And then you take the arm and poop, you pop it out. And then this is the kind of hard part. So if you look on the inside, there's another socket in there. It matches this white one. To get these out of the doll, generally speaking, I will use some sort of heat gun or hair dryer to heat up the rubber enough, or the plastic enough, the vinyl, to get it out. So you can also, if you're afraid of using like a hair dryer and potentially melting your doll, you can also use boiling water, but I find the doll being slippery adds like a whole nother layer of fear for me. That is harder for me than just heating it with a heat gun and just popping it out, because I just need the socket warm enough that it gets soft so that I don't rip the vinyl when I pull the socket out, because the inside of this is going to look exactly like the this one. So I'm gonna cut all her limbs off and make a little pile, and then we'll do them all at once, because I think that'll be easier. Alright, so this is what she looks like taken apart. These are the pieces I'm gonna throw away. These are the little caps that go on the inside of her body. This is her body. If the body is dirty, you definitely should wash it at this point, and if any of these little rubber sockets are loose or need to be re-sewn, this is the time to do that. My doll looks pretty good. I don't need to do that this time, but it's definitely worth noting if you're gonna do it, this is the time to do it. I would not machine sew this. Unless you have like an industrial sewing machine that is meant to sew through this kind of plastic, I would only hand sew this. It's gonna be a pain, but it can be done. And then these are her limbs. They're very, very dirty currently. There's a little piece on the inside. I'm gonna heat them up, pop these little cups out. I'll show you what that looks like for at least one of them. And then, because it's going to be really hard to do one-handed for me. And then I'm going to clean them up, and I'll show you how that process looks. But yeah. Wash time. Alright, now you get voiceover Hallie for a little bit, because a lot of this process is really loud. But I take a single piece of clothing, and I have a salad spinner that I got from IKEA for like just a couple bucks. That's easy to replace. I find it's really easy and a good way to get everything suds up. So I add a little bit of laundry soap. You can use whatever kind of soap you want, but I'm allergic to a lot of soap, so I use what I use on my own clothes. I use a little tea kettle in my bathroom, and this is just my doll bathroom, so it's not really used by people. But I add some hot water. I put the lid on, and then I spin it. Once it's done, you'll see me wringing it out. I will just rinse it in the sink. I don't rinse it in the spinner, because I've found it's really tedious to go back and forth, but the water was still clean enough from that shirt that I ended up going in with the red jacket right away. I noticed immediately that there was dark red water, which I didn't record, so I took the jacket out, and then I did the pants and the socks, which got really gross. And now, with a little help from fiance, we ended up doing the limbs next. Because he was there, this is my first time ever having help to do this, he decided he wanted to use the hot water to heat it up because I was using the blow dryer and I think the noise was bothering him. So you're going to see some footage of his hands as he uses his brute strength to pop these out. This does work. It is also really effective if you have a pair of little needle nose pliers to do this. He made that look so easy. But the real trick is to get it nice and hot, because if it's hot enough, you will not tear the vinyl, and the vinyl will become squishy like that. Even that really dense, thick vinyl, which is what this is, if you get it hot enough, it will just pop out. His hands were hurting a lot by the end of this, because he was using his hands on the hard, hot, wet vinyl, and the grip was very difficult to maintain. But he did it. He powered through. One of the limbs he really struggled with, and I don't remember which one it is, but I kept that footage in because I wanted to just show you that it's not always super easy. Like, it doesn't always immediately happen. Sometimes you have to try a lot to get it out. And so here it is. He's going back, reheating it again. If it's not hot enough, just keep trying to get it a little bit warmer. That's also the trick for doing an eye swap. I learned that the hard way because the first time I ever did an eye swap, the second eye that I did, I tore the little eye hole, and that's one of the 2 dolls I've ever damaged. The trick is really just be patient and make sure it's nice and hot. A kettle does wonders if you can afford one. This was like $10 at Walmart, $15 at Walmart. But you can also use boiling water on your stove. I just don't like having to go back and forth between the bathroom and the kitchen, so that's why I don't do that. There it is. You can see it's so close, and he's actually squishing it a little bit, but he did get that one out. We just reheated it, and it went back to its normal shape. It wasn't too big of a deal. And he's getting the little bit of elastic out on the other side. It's hard because it's wet, so it doesn't want to come out. If
use the hot water method to get the limbs taken apart. This is probably as good a time as any to note that this tutorial is just what worked for me this time. Every time I do this, it's a little bit different, but I hope this is helpful, and I just want to encourage you to try. If this doesn't work for you, that's okay, but if it does, that's also great. It did this time work this way for me, so I was really excited about how this turned out, and this is my first time really having somebody help me like this, so I was really excited and grateful to Fiance. Okay, here he is struggling. The arms were a lot harder than the legs, and you'll probably notice a little piece of vinyl in the sink. We could not figure out where that came from, so it must have been loose inside the doll because I checked all the limbs and I didn't see any damage anywhere, so that must have just been loose inside one of the dolls when we took the piece out. So he's trying, he's so close, it's still not coming out. He's trying to use a pair of tweezers. Tweezers are not really effective. They're too soft. They will just bend under the weight of the vinyl. So please make sure that you, if you need to use a tool, I would get some pliers, some little tiny pliers. You can get them for really cheap at a craft store if you get the kind that are made for jewelry making. Or you can get them at like a hardware store for like $10. The next time I do this, we did pick up a pair of pliers. Because I couldn't find my doll ones when we were doing this the first time. But I have done this before, and I have used pliers. They are very effective. I would recommend it. Just don't get ones that have too much tooth to them, because you'll like rip the inside of the cup up, especially if it's warm. But yeah, I'm gonna let you see him struggle for a little bit just so it feels more human. I promise it's not always gonna go perfect. It's not always gonna be super easy, but you will eventually get it. And I made the mistake of not doing any footage of me doing the first leg, but now we're going to switch gears to washing again, and I'm using a dish detergent and some baking soda. Once again, this is a doll bathroom. I don't have any normal soap in this bathroom. People aren't using it. The baking soda is a nice abrasive, so I will get that all over the limb. I'll scrub in the soap, and then I'll hand scrub it, and then I'll just rinse it in the sink. I am using a bucket to get the limbs nice and warm when I add, so the little spinner I fill with hot water from the kettle, and then I put the limb in it to kind of warm it up and get all the gunk kind of loose on it. The hot water really helps. And then I'll take the little toothbrush. This is just for doll usage. I put some soap on it, I put some baking soda on it, and then I will scrub it up dub on the limb. You can tell that I'm struggling to show this one-handed, but I'll scrub it, and then I'll rinse it really, really good in the sink. All of the marks on her limbs came off. All of them. Every single one. So I got really lucky this time. Nothing needed to be bleached. Nothing needed to be left out in the sun. So she got nice and squeaky clean. I rinse, get it nice and hot. Whew, very hot. I was letting that water cool down because I wanted to use it to boil wash some doll hair, and it was a little bit too hot, and I didn't want to scorch the hair. So I was just kind of using it to clean the limbs. And then now we're going to boil wash her hair. So the trick to this is you don't want the hot water actually boiling. If it is too hot, you will damage the hair. You'll notice as I'm doing this, her hair is disgusting. It's very, very gross. So I'm using this. I'm being very careful. I'm trying not to get it in her eye sockets because the inside of the doll eyes are metal and they will rust if you get them wet. So now I'm going in. I am using that same detergent, that dish soap. I just use something plain and unscented because I'm allergic to most soaps. So I'm using something plain and unscented, and then I'm dunking it back in the water, reheating it. This water is very warm, but it is not boiling anymore. I can stick my hand in it, not for a long time, but it is tolerable to touch. And then once I get it where I want it, I am rinsing it in the sink. I make sure I get all the soap out. If your doll's hair is dry, I would recommend using some sort of like low scented conditioner. I know it's like nearly impossible to find scent-free conditioner, but just a human hair conditioner is very effective to adding some moisture back in. Just make sure you get all of it out if you put some in there. This doll didn't need it, so I didn't add it to her, but it is definitely an option. I do keep some conditioner in the doll bathroom just for that purpose. Mine's mint scented because I love mint. But yeah, you're going to see me rinsing her, wringing out the hair. I'm going to try to wash the face and get that little spot off. I did end up struggling to not get water in her eyes this time because of how close that mark was to her eyeball. So I kind of just gave up. And I'm not being too rough on anywhere with face paint. If the paint sealant is not good, you will just scrub the paint off if you're not careful. I am being gentle. This is a gentle, soft toothbrush with just a little bit of soap and baking soda on it. And then I'm going to rinse it off very carefully. I did end up getting a little bit of water in her eye. It's not the end of the world if you do. You just need to make sure that you get it all the way dry. And do not leave her with water in her eye socket or it will rust. So what I recommend for that, if that does happen to you, is to use a blow dryer on a low heat setting. Do not put it on high heat. You will warp the face. Put it on a low heat setting and then blow dry the eye sockets until there is no water. Like, you have to go way, way longer than you would ever think. I do it until the eyes will bounce open and closed pretty consistently, and I don't see any water coming out of the socket. I usually do it for about 10-ish minutes until I am absolutely sure that there is no water inside of the eye socket. I do show a little bit of that footage, but I also did cut a lot of that footage, so you didn't have to just sit there watching me blow dry the eye. You can see that one's sticking. There was a ton of water still. And then this is how I leave her to dry. So she is sitting on the edge of the bathtub, letting her hair drip into the bathtub so it doesn't make a huge mess. Alright, now it's time for restringing. Bear with me as some of the angles of this are kind of funky. Alright, welcome back. So, I hope you enjoyed me washing up all the doll parts for this doll. Now, I've gathered up all the pieces you're going to need. This is what I'm going to be using for crimping the strings down. This is crimp sleeves. I got these at a hardware store. They're for an electrical thing, so if you're looking for them, they're an electrical part. And then this is the string we're going to be using. I don't know what size this elastic is. I got this at a doll show. I saw it in a bin and I said, oh my god, I need that. So I'm not really sure what size it is, but it's pretty big. And essentially what you're going to do is feed the elastic through the little cup and then crimp it, and then feed it through the one in the body and then crimp it, and then you should be done. Pull it tight, make sure it's nice and taut. But yeah. So you pull it through. Push the little crimpy do on there. You don't need like a ton sticking out of it. I bought a pair of crimper bolt things. Crimp like that. And now that cup is going nowhere. Then you're gonna pop that cup into the doll limb, and then you're gonna feed it through. So let me try to pop this in.
A few minutes later.
A huge thank you to Fiance, who is helping me boil wash the doll limbs. You pop the sockets, or I guess not socket, cup back in to the doll arm so then we can reattach it to the socket. These have the new elastics on them, and Yeah, I'm making sure that we're patting it as dry as possible. He tried to pop it in there and I was like, nope, nope, dry it off. Dry it off, dry it off. Get as much water out as possible. Pop the socket back in. And then I took a blow dryer to it after and made sure the inside was dry and left it to dry overnight before I reassembled the doll. I just wanted to be super ultra sure that there was absolutely no water inside her legs or her arms before she got put back together. I might be a little bit on the overcautious side, but I'm very scared of my dolls getting moldy, especially since I live somewhere that's humid and very warm, where mold is very easily acquired, and I have a whole room full of dolls that I don't want to be all moldy. So, enjoy this footage. He is very good at this. He is very strong and very quick. If it was me, I would be struggling with this because my fingernails are generally too long to push this in comfortably. I was struggling, which is why he came to help, because he's very sweet. Alright, those are fixed. Bloop. And now we're gonna put them through the body. One of the big tricks when doing this is to make sure that the body is facing forward and make sure you're putting the right leg in the right spot. So I'm gonna pull it through like so. Oh dear. Pull it through like so. You're gonna take one of the little cups, slide it on inside. So just double check that everything's tight and in the right spot. You're gonna kind of pull it tight. You're gonna slide the little clamp thing onto it. Pull it tight. And bloop. And your leg should be attached. This one was my leftover piece of string, so it was really long, so I'm gonna cut some of that off because that's way too much. And I'm gonna do the other leg and then I'll come back for the arm. Progress check. Both legs are facing the correct direction and are on the front of the body the right way. Now we're gonna do the arms. Alright, I'm gonna do my best to get a good angle of this, but I make zero promises. So we're gonna slide the arm through. This is what it will kind of look like on the inside of the body. We're gonna slide the little cup on. Like so. Slide the little clamp thing on, kind of pull it tight. I find it's easier to pull tight if you get the pliers onto it first and get kind of a grip with those. And then kind of pull it after. Grip hard. Ta-da! There's one, and I'm gonna do the other one. Alright, so I'm back. Her limbs are all tight. They're all facing the correct direction, which is really important. And that's the back of her neck, so everything's the right way. Now I'm gonna refill her stuffing, and I'll show you what that looks like. So quick update. So it looks like her body's full, but I have this much stuffing left, so clearly more of it's gonna fit in there. But I wanted to say Doing your own doll repair can feel really scary at first and really intimidating, but I just want to encourage everyone to give it a try. I would like to recommend starting with maybe your childhood doll or a doll you picked up that's in really rough shape from a secondhand store that you really can't make much worse, because it's a lot less scary to know that if you make a mistake or you mess up that you're not really going to be able to hurt it. I know it can feel kind of overwhelming at first, but the more you do it, the easier it will get. And I know even me, I'm very seasoned at doing this. I've done this a lot. Even doing it now, it was kind of overwhelming at first, but once I got back into the groove, I felt so proud of myself and I feel so accomplished. Being able to fix my own dolls and know that, like, if I play with them, I can bring them back to life and I can make them look new again. And so I highly recommend that you at least try. If that is too scary for you, you are always welcome to find a professional who will restring your doll for you. But I promise you can do it. It seems kind of overwhelming and scary at first, but it gets way less scary the more you do it. When you're doing the stuffing, just make sure you just keep pushing it in, finding every little nook and cranny to make sure that the stuffing is all evenly distributed. I like to put a little bit in the shoulder area and kind of surround the socket that the little joint is in. I feel like it makes the doll look a little bit rounder and a little bit nicer. But yeah, you can do it, I promise. And if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. American Girls, while they are fairly expensive, they are also becoming more and more common over the years, and it's not impossible to find replacement parts. It's not impossible to find, oh, I made a mistake with an eye swap and I need a new head, or oh, I made a mistake with a limb and I need a new limb piece. Like, you definitely can find pieces to repair your dolls with, and there's lots of dolls on eBay and stuff that are affordable that you can use for parts if you need to. So definitely give it a try. I highly recommend it. And I hope y'all enjoy the hobby and just put all your love and care into fixing these dolls, because they need to keep being with us and being friends to whoever they're going to be with next. Whether that's you or somebody else. It's just so nice to be able to share these dolls and share our hobby together, and I'm just really excited. I also want to show you a sneak preview of this dollhouse. This is a dollhouse that I've been working on for the last maybe year, and I'm getting ready to start working on the inside of it. The outside's pretty much done, but the inside is not done at all, so this is just a little preview, because there will be a video coming out for that eventually as well. And if you haven't seen it yet, I did do a review on these two baby dolls, and you definitely should check that out. I'll link it down in the comments below. But yeah, here she is, all stuffed. All the stuffing is gone. It's all back in her. I try to make sure for the older American Girls to put a lot more in their butt. They have like a bigger, squishier butt. But yeah, I'm gonna go grab her head, and we're gonna pop it back on, and then she will be all reassembled. Alright, so here she is. The ends of her hair are still a little bit wet, but that'll be okay. Her bangs are basically dry now, so this can be a little tricky, especially when they're this full. But essentially, you're going to get the head under a little bit of fabric all the way around, get it under there like that, and then I'm going to move the hair out of the way, and I'm going to take the two neck strings, fold them like this, start pulling. Pull it nice and tight. Pull it as tight as you can get it. This part can be helpful to have a second person to keep the strings tied. And I just do a single knot. I push this little bit of fabric back down if I can. Pop her hair over. And voila! She is all reassembled. Now for this particular doll, I was not able to get this little pen mark off of her face. I think I'm going to be using her for a customizing video. So if I do that, I will probably have to pop her eyeballs out. But we will see. If I do that, I will fix that pen mark, but as it is, it doesn't really bother me. So if I don't make her custom, I'll probably just leave it. But yeah, she's looking way better. I'm quite happy with how she's turning out. Just for like reference, her limbs are nice and tight now. If I take her and do this, nothing really happens. Like, she can hold a pose. Woohoo! Alright, we're gonna let her hair dry and then I'll brush it through again and style it, and we'll pop her back in her outfit once it's dry as well. Alright, welcome back. So this girl's all clean now, and I have her outfit here. It's also all clean now and dry, so I can pop it back on her. I will say I didn't get that spot out on her cheek. See if I can get the camera to focus. I could definitely try like a magic eraser or something, but generally for little ink spots like that, I'll put some zinc peroxide style cream on her, and I'll just leave it sitting there in the heat for a couple days, and I'll keep reapplying, make sure it's moist, and then I'll take it off and check it and keep doing that until it's gone. Currently it's not particularly noticeable, so I'm not super worried about it. If I end up using this gel for another project, I will take it off, but at the moment I'm not really bothered by it. Her eyes are so beautiful though, and her hair turned out quite nice. She still has that one fluff that doesn't want to stay down, which makes me giggle. But her hair turned out really, really nice. Still got a little bit of the flip in it. I could recurl the flip into it. I'm not too stressed about it once again. If I do end up using her for another project, I'll probably just end up curling her whole head of hair, so that's why I wasn't too stressed about it. But yeah, we're gonna pop her back into her little outfit, and then we'll show you the grand reveal. Alright, here she is. She's all dressed. She's restrung. For anyone else who potentially has this outfit and is looking to wash it, just be aware that this red jacket did bleed a lot. I would not leave it soaking in any sort of water or soap solution. I got it wet, I gave it a really quick soap, a really quick rinse, and then I immediately put it up to dry because I don't want the inside to stain or turn purple. So if you do have this outfit and you are going to wash it, just be aware of that. She looks all clean. She's wearing her little socks. Her shoes, however, were kind of a mess. I'm going to try to fix them, and I'm going to record that, but they may or may not turn out. So if they don't turn out, I probably won't include that footage, and this will be the end of the video, but if they do turn out, then I will show you that process of how they got fixed. Alright, welcome back. We're gonna attempt to fix these doll shoes. My hope is not high. I'm gonna try to scrape all of this like pleather off because it's already coming off anyway. The base is like really dry. I don't know how to fix that. Some of it's okay in like the middle here. And then it's like very discolored, so I might try to paint it as well. I have some paints that are like really similar in color, so we'll see if we can make a close match. This is the white that I currently have. It may be too gray, but it looks a lot like the white on the tip of the shoe. And then we're gonna re-glue this piece that broke off of this shoe. So I'm gonna go get some paper towels and some water, and let's get started. So update, I went to peel the remnants of the pleather off of the shoes, and the whole base just came off. So that should make it a little bit easier, at least to paint them. You can kind of see the construction a little bit. So I'm gonna paint them up, and then we will see how that goes and how that dries and how that looks, and I will be back. Quick little progress shot. We got the tip of it painted like a blue undertone white. Now we're gonna try using this blue on the blue that's missing. Alright, so the blue is a little bit too dark. However, I think I'm gonna use the lighter blue to fix the base. So I'm gonna give this a good scrub before I try painting it, and then we can give it a shot being painted as well. I am gonna clear coat all of this, just hopefully keep it stuck to the shoe. Oh. So yeah. Alright, this has really turned into a trust the process sort of experience. This is what the shoe that I haven't touched yet looks like. I did wash both of these before I started this. This is what the other shoe looks like. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So now we're gonna paint the base of this like really light blue. Hopefully it'll match the laces, and then we'll start the other shoe. Alright, this is where I'm gonna pause for a bit, let the base dry, and then we'll keep going on it. It's looking really good actually. I think these might be salvageable, which is shocking to me because they were, well, as you can see, quite hideous. So I'm gonna let all that dry, and then we'll come back and do the second shoe and do the next coat on the base of this one. This is probably gonna turn into a couple-day project just for dry time for all the paint, but yeah. Once we're done, we'll clear coat everything as well. Make sure it stays nice and sealed and doesn't flake off. Alright, welcome back. So it's been about 12 hours-ish since I did this morning. And I just super glued the base on and I finished painting it. And I also went back over and repainted the dark blue with the light blue. And it looks way better, like shockingly better. For comparison, I just scraped all the stuff off this one and just re-glued its base. But yeah, we're gonna paint this one next, and I am fixing its sole because it was broken, so I cleaned it. I know it doesn't look like it, but I did, and I super glued the top back together, so we'll repaint that as well. But yeah, it's coming pretty good, coming along pretty good. I need to seal the paint with some clear, I'm gonna use nail polish. That's what I use for keeping anything that's, words are hard. Pleather from peeling in real life. Like if I get like a cheap wallet or something, I cover it in clear nail polish and it holds up a lot better. So that's what I'm gonna do with this. Once I get the paint all set and sealed, I will clear coat it with nail polish to keep it from peeling. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out actually. I'm excited to see it on the doll. I'll be back when this glue is dry and I can start painting on this one. I got the white layer painted on this shoe. Now I just gotta do the blue one, but I'm gonna let it dry first. Alright, so it's now been a little over 24 hours and the shoe is completely dry and the glue is attached. It's looking pretty dang good. I'm surprised at how well this turned out. I was heavily diluting the paint with water, and I was using already diluted paint because I was using miniature paint, so it's already pretty thin. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna clear coat it before I put it on the doll. I'm gonna use some matte nail polish. And then the shoe I just added the blue to, so it's ready to go. And then I started painting the base of the shoe base that I fixed. It's very wet still, if you couldn't tell from how shiny it is. And you can see the old color that's like faded down here. I'm gonna give it a second coat before we put it on the shoe, and also clear coat all of the shoe as well. But yeah, it's going super well, and I'm excited to show you all the finished result. Alright, welcome back. It's been about 48 hours of working on these shoes, but they are finally done. I'm really excited about how they turned out. I'm gonna go put them on a doll and show y'all the final result. But yeah, they look really cute. For comparison's sake, I'm gonna pop up a photo of what they looked like before next to them so that you have a better side-by-side shot so you can see the progress or the change. I hope this is helpful to some of y'all. I hope you're enjoying the video. Don't be afraid to work on your doll projects and try to fix stuff yourself. It's really rewarding. And here she is, the grand reveal. I'm so excited with how she turned out. She looks beautiful. And she's all clean, she's all restrung, her shoes look beautiful. We're going to do a little quick 360 of her. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a really long video, but I hope some of you find it helpful. And I hope everyone that is interested in maybe trying to restring or work on their doll, that they give it a try. I am so happy with the result of this, and I can't tell you enough how much it means to me to share my doll hobby with all of you here on YouTube. I'm gonna show you a quick comparison side by side of what she looked like before versus what she looks like now. I don't know how much it shows in this picture, but she was so dirty and her shoes were falling apart, and it's so fun to just find a doll for like really cheap and just, you know, give her a new life and give her a new home and just hope that she gets to have another life. And yeah, American Girl dolls mean a lot to me. I've had a big collection for a long time. When I was a little girl, I used to save up all my money, and every like 3 years or so, my mom would take me to the American Girl store, and she would let me pick out a doll, and I would use my own money, and it was just such an amazing experience, and I just love the hobby and love collecting so much. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, YouTube!